Well, it's one of the biggest and most controversial construction sites in the nation. Of course, we're talking about the 2nd Avenue subway project, and because it is such a fiery subject, the MTA has opened a new community information center. It's going to address those questions for folks living there, working around the project, and everyone in between. Joining us is Dr. Michael Hornacianu. I got it right. We practice. He's president of the MTA Cap Construction, the man in charge of all the mega projects. Well, this one about $20 billion. Also, Nancy Plager of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. I thank you both for being here. And since we're talking information, first question is a status report. Where are we with the 2nd Avenue subway?
2nd Avenue subway is, at this point, on budget, on schedule. We expect to open it December 2016.
3 years away, and we're only talking about 3 stops. I don't think people realize this. What exactly does it?
Stops.
3.5. What does it entail, Michael?
Well, we have a station at 96th Street, 86th Street, 72nd, and we're bringing the trains into the unutilized half of 63rd Street. That other half is F. The other half will be the Q line, and the first line will be the extension of Q line to 96th Street. And beyond that, we are utilizing as part of the tunnels that were built in the 70s. There's a set of tunnels between 99 and 105th Street that we actually are refurbishing and using that.
So you're tapping into things that were already there as part of it.
That's correct.
Now let's talk about where this center will be stationed. It's going to be on the east side of 2nd Avenue, but between which streets?
84 and 85th Street.
And I'm hoping at the Chamber of Commerce you can talk about who this is really for, who this information center will be benefiting. Is it people living here, tourists, or what type of information will they receive?
Well, it's a little bit of everybody. It's people living there. It's school children who will come in. We actually have a wonderful art exhibit being hung there now, the Eastside Middle School. We had students draw pictures of what they envisioned the subway stops to look like. Okay. We're going to have business meetings there for all the small business owners. We're going to have a series of networking events, business-to-business networking events, educational events for business owners, and also the tourists that come to the east side and go to the museums and may walk over to see what's going on. There's great history at the site, lots and lots of really great information and videos.
So you talked about the history of it, and this project has been a long time coming. It's been the source of jokes, if we can admit that, the source of some complaints, especially from some of the business owners around 2nd Avenue. What can you tell them in terms of the project status and, you know, how much they'll be impacted, especially immediately?
We have been there for a long time.
Yes.
And I think that we have started in a very aggressive fashion to do a lot of work with them to minimize the impact on the neighborhood. And we have worked at that basically since 2009 continuously. And people ought to remember that 2nd Avenue is a very large, one of the largest projects that are being built in the United States in the most densely populated area.
Right.
There are more than 100,000 residents per square mile. There are only 3 other places in the United States that can say that in talking about locations. So we have done that. It was never tried. It was never done before, at least not under the current conditions. We have done that at the beginning of the last century, but in those times environmental impacts were not considered to be important. Today we want to make sure that people that live there can continue to do that, and we have developed plans. We actually are writing the book in a way as to how to build such large capital projects in dense urban areas.
So, Nancy, in terms of information, I mean, if I come to this center, what will I be receiving? Is it a pamphlet? Is it someone that's been trained to kind of break down the phases of the project and where it stands?
It's all of the above. There's staff there, and Michael can tell you more about that, but there is staff, there are great videos you can put on headphones, you can learn about the history of the subway in general, not just on 2nd Avenue. You can see pictures of the underground, of the construction, you can learn all about the different statistics. You can get pamphlets there from different business owners. We're going to have restaurant brochures and
we're looking actually at the rendering of what it's going to look like there on 2nd Avenue. It's going to be open already. It's there. You're happy with that.
And it does. It's been open for 18 days now.
18 days now. What has been the response from people coming there?
We have, to date, have seen about 600 people that came in.
Wow, already.
Yes, and this is, remember, it's summer. A lot of people are actually not there. The place, we've seen mostly people from the neighborhood. Okay. 10% of the people showing up were children.
So everybody has a question for the MTA.
And everyone has a question. We only seen out of the 600 people, 7 people that came with complaints. 7 out of 600. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, Michael and Nancy, thank you so much for being here. We want to tell people about that outreach on 2nd Avenue, the Information Center. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.